What with Halloween coming up, it seems fitting that we should take a look at a classic video game that features mummies, werewolves, scary gothic themed levels, a mad scientist, and a main baddie that looks suspiciously like Satan. Yes, it's Decap Attack, the classic Sega Megadrive platforming adventure, which is probably the only game in existence where you get to play as a reanimated corpse that just so happens to have his head lodged within his chest cavity. In Japan, the game was known as Magical Flying Hat Turbo Adventure, which was based on an anime series that took place in a goofy, cartoonish depiction on Arabian Nights. Here, you played as a turban-clad lad that has to save the world from an evil demon, by making his way through a number of colourful levels and throwing what appeared to be Codemaster's old egg-shaped mascot, Dizzy, at approaching enemies. Now, considering the anime wasn't known outside of Japan, the game was reworked for Western audiences into Decap Attack, changing its brightly coloured Arabian theme into a spooky Halloween-type horror world. In Decap Attack, you're playing as Chuck D. Head, who has to battle against a demon called Max Decap. Yes, it's that type of humour. Decap Attack is similar to Sonic the Hedgehog, in which your main character travels across a number of themed levels, with 3 stages in each of them. There are multiple routes that you can take in order to reach the end of the level, with a likely chance of finding extra lives and various power potions if you choose to go exploring. These potions can grant you invincibility, more powerful attacks, stronger jumps, and lots of other abilities, so it's well worth taking the time to go out and find these, as they'll aid you well throughout the game. You can also collect coins which can be used as a bonus game to obtain more extra lives and potions. Although to be honest, looking at the bonus game in action, I haven't got a bloody clue what's going on here. On the 3rd stage you will have to go exploring, as an artifact needs to be obtained first before you can face the end of level baddie. Find the artifact, beat the boss, and you can go on to the next island. Some of these boss fights are particularly creative and unique, such as this cannibal looking fella that lobs his headdress at you, or this giant jumping toad. It's certainly not a pushover, and you aren't going to find this game easy. The Totem Pearl boss in particular has been responsible for much wailing and gnashing of teeth over the years. But if you can get past that, then you've probably got a good chance of finishing the rest of the game. And what happens when you finish the game? Why, it's an ending that Walt Disney himself will be proud of, as Chuck gets to become a real boy. Well, hurrah for that. It certainly is amazing taking a look at both Magical Hat Flying Turbo Adventure and Decap Attack side by side to see how similar, yet different, the two games are, as well as seeing the various changes that were made, some subtle, others not too subtle. But it does seem that more work was put into changing the game into Decap Attack than what was put into making the original game in the first place. What first attracted me to Decap Attack was the depiction of the game in Sonic the Comic, a fortnightly published British children's comic that featured stories about a certain well-known blue hedgehog, along with a number of other characters from various Sega games. The comic strip of Decap Attack was a particular favourite one amongst its readers, thanks mainly to its absurd sense of humour, as it dealt with the daily life of Chuck, along with Head, who's the talking skull that Chuck lobs at his enemies, much to Head's annoyance, as well as the evil-minded Igor, who's constantly trying to kill Chuck for some reason, and the mad scientist Professor Frank N. Stein, who it turns out is actually faking his German accent and really comes from Cardiff. Due to its licence, Magical Flying Hat Turbo Adventure has never been re-released beyond its original Mega Drive version, but Decap Attack can be found on a number of Sega Mega Drive compilations, as well as on Steam and other digital distribution services, so picking up and playing this game is very easy. We at the Big Daddy D Reviews certainly recommend that you do, as the game is well worthy of a thumbs up.